It means Lika has just been cracking down on the fact that we're like too self-aware, and our therapist can't tell us something we already don't. They can't tell us something that we don't know. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
No. Hi guys, welcome back to Easy Productions. Today we have our semester recap, like we said we would. We're on winter break right now, but we're just gonna go through from like the end of August to December when the semester ended. And yeah, let's get right into it.
Yeah, 16 long weeks. Okay, guys, so I go to the University of Michigan, and I don't know, it's really not the greatest, to be honest, you guys. I feel as though they kind of sell it to be like, oh, it's so prestigious. It's a Ivy League in Michigan. It's really not. It's really just a school with a bunch of rich white people, to be honest. And if you're not rich and white when you're going there, it's really not fun, especially if you're not even extroverted to begin with. I feel like it's a very lively little city, Ann Arbor, and it really caters to the rich white people because everything on campus is pretty much catered to, oh, I'm an alumni of Michigan. Other than that, September through October is what we're going to be starting with. During this period, I was actually attending my classes. I had 4 classes. They were African Studies, Native American Studies, Anthropology, and Astronomy. Surprisingly, astronomy was the easiest, even though that was really a lot of just math and science. A lot of the math was math I did not learn, like physics and trigonometry. So I was kind of guessing, but I managed to pass. And then anthropology, and then Native American Studies and African Studies. Those are just social studies classes. We didn't really do much. It was just, think about this thing that's racist. Is it bad? That was pretty much it. I mean, there was no really nuance to any of those classes. It was kind of boring. And then at our school, we have like 3 exams per semester. So like the first third, the second third, and the third, final third. That's how the exams worked. First round, easy. But after that, kind of like wasn't so easy because I stopped attending class. And overall, the first third of the semester, I felt very lonely because all these like, oh, welcome freshmen, oh, blah, 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 blah. It's like, I don't know anyone here. This is not making me feel welcome, especially because it's so many white people. And they try to be like, oh, we have DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And it's like, it's literally just them acknowledging the fact that there are people there that aren't white. It's really bare minimum.
Yeah, my first third was kind of the same. I also started with 4 classes. I had like a math class that was supposed to bring up your placement score because mine was not good to start, but that also ended in September too, like at the end of September, because yeah, like I don't know, yeah. But then I just had graphic design and sociology and a writing class, and they were fine. I was not really interested in any of them to begin with. I ended up liking sociology, but everything else, like, they weren't really what I wanted to take. And it did not really feel like I was in college. Like, it didn't sink in for a while, even though I was living there. It's just like, it feels like high school kind of, especially since a lot of my classes were smaller. It kind of just felt the same, except I lived there. And I was having a great time being away from my parents, honestly. And yeah, it was hard because I'm a vegetarian, so like being at the dining halls, you kind of get tired of just eating vegetables and nothing else, and like carbs. And I also did not talk to anybody there. I talked to my roommate at first, but she wasn't really interesting, I guess. Yeah, I didn't really talk to anybody in my classes. Yeah, spent a lot of time alone, but I felt all right with it at first.
Yeah, I did too, because my family is 5 people, so I feel like during my time at home, it just felt super just constant chaos and just constantly talking. So yeah, the first third I was enjoying being able to just not talk for long periods of time, but it kind of messes with your mental health, which is weird because I've always been an introvert and I never minded not talking for long periods of time, but like going days or weeks without really having a real conversation, that actually will drive you insane. That's why I feel like I spent a lot of time on social media my first third. I was just mindlessly scrolling because of just how much I needed some sort of like mental stimulation. And then with the food, I'm the same way. I'm not vegetarian, but I am a picky eater. And I feel like the dining halls, they pretty much cater to the international students, and they mainly have just foreign foods in the dining halls. And if they don't, then there's like pizza and like Americana, I guess that's what it's called. It's really not a great selection of food in my opinion.
What is that?
Like pizza, burgers, fries, chicken. I thought that was like a whole like cuisine, Americana.
I've never heard that, but of course it is.
But it just was not fulfilling what I needed. I was pretty hungry. Well, yeah, the entire semester I was really just hungry a lot of the times. And I didn't like eating French fries every day because like who wants to eat fried food every single day? And the only other options were really just either eating somewhere like on an on-campus restaurant or just not eating or just eating like snacks like Cheez-Its and Oreos. That's what got me through like the last third of the semester. I just genuinely found that the food on campus was like not affordable. Like if I wanted to eat off like not in the dining halls, it would cost me like $15-20 just to get food.
Also, I like with our meal plans, you get like flex money, which you can use at like the convenience stores around and like on some foods. And I did not know that, so I ended up spending all of that money within like the first month because I didn't know you could use like the meal swipes to get like other stuff outside of the dining hall. And I think that was like $100. I was like, oh great, I can use it for like a phone cord, like anything. And you know, that kind of ended up not being good at the end because then I did not have money and I had to use my own money if I wanted stuff.
So we're gonna move on to the second third, which is October through November. By this time, I stopped going to my classes regularly because of how tired I was. My anthropology class was in the morning and it was from like 10 to 11:30. And I was like, well, a lot of these teachers, they kind of have this thing called a lecture capture where they record the lectures and just post them online. So I was like, I'm just going to do that instead of waking up. But after a while, it kind of, built up. And I was realizing I'm not even like watching the lectures. I'm waiting until like a day or two before the exams to watch them. And that was not helpful. I just kind of wished I had more of, self-discipline and an obligation to my education. I feel like I only went to classes that took attendance to just Native American Studies because it was a seminar-based class. The other ones were all lectures. And I only went to astronomy because of how easy and simple it was. Like the class was only 50 minutes, 3 days out of the week. So I was like, might as well go. And then my native studies class was from 4 to 5:30 p.m. and that was very easy to attend. I could just wake up at any time and just be awake before that class started. And overall, I was kind of tapping out by the time it reached October to November. I really was realizing that this was real.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same. My classes were okay. My writing class started to be really hard for me. And we had like our first like writing assignment that was like an actual paper, Also, we have notes on our phones if you see us looking down, so don't you mind that. But yeah, that started to be really hard. And it's like in high school, I didn't have a lot of like practice with writing. So that was difficult and felt really like underprepared and like inadequate, honestly. And I think during this time I stopped going to the dining hall too because I don't like eating in front of people. So I bought this little like container that you can carry food out. But then I started being anxious about having to grab the container because they're on these shelves and like, sometimes the ones that I want are all the way at the bottom. I have to like crouch down. I feel like it looks stupid. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just not go to avoid all of that. Yeah. I think during this time I had realized I can use the swipes. So I would go to this store that was near my dorm and get like wraps and stuff. But they only have like 2 vegetarian things. So that was not great either. But I had a food card, so I would just like get stuff from the grocery store too. And I also started becoming more anxious about walking around alone because I was alone all the time, and like everybody seems like they came to college with a group of friends already. So I felt like weird for not having friends and not making any. And my mental health started getting worse during this time too. Oh, also my roommate started to become worse during this time.
My roommate overall, she was pretty fine. I really don't have any complaints about her. I don't know. You want to move on to like the next third of the semester?
Sure.
So, November through December, the last third. By this time, I was just aiming for a break. I genuinely was just, I don't know. I really wasn't on my A game. I really wasn't trying to do anything, but I was trying my best to not cram things for the weekend anymore. I was actually like taking the time out of my day to like compromise with myself, you know what I mean? Like I used to drag myself to the library in the first third of the semester saying I'm a good student, but then I was like, I can just do my bed, you know, reward myself every like 20 minutes by like eating something or something. I don't know. I just felt like I had to like stimulate myself while I was doing my work just in order to get it all done with. And around this time, a lot of my classes had like final exams, you know, like a project to do or an essay. Miraculously, I got them all done in time, but I still wish I worked on them throughout the semester because that's the whole point of them assigning them in the first place, is for you to work on them. And also during this time, I started worrying about my future a lot because I was realizing how like bad of a college student I was. I feel like in like elementary, middle school, high school, I feel like I was for the most part a decent student because I actually tried and I did procrastinate, but it was like you can get away with procrastinating in high school a lot more than in college. You can still procrastinate in college, but it's like it can affect you a bit more because the professors don't know you, and it's not like they're going to give you extra points like, oh, you tried. But then again, it's really not horrible. Like you're not going to get marked down significantly for not trying because the professors equally don't care as much. I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, overall, I was just feeling so burnt out by this time, and most of my exams and projects and essays, I was trying less and less on every time I had to come back to them and revise them.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same. I also was very burnt out by the end of the semester, and I had kind of lost like the very little motivation that I did have. Going into college, this was kind of a backup plan, honestly. Like I didn't really picture myself coming to college, which I think is why it didn't sink in and why I was just like, well, here now, high school part 2. But yeah, my grades were honestly fine though. I started becoming more interested in my sociology class. This was my only lecture class, so it's like I did not know what you were supposed to do at the beginning. Like everybody's writing. It's like, am I just copying the PowerPoints? Didn't really know what to do. But it started being interesting at the end. And I also switched rooms at the end of the semester. And my mental health was really bad during this time. Okay, so for my math class, you don't get an actual grade for it. It's just credit or no credit. But for my writing class, I guess it doesn't matter the class. But I ended the semester with an A, a B, and a C, and then credit for the math class, which apparently is a 2.85. I don't know if that's right because my sociology teacher doesn't have the grades like uploaded to the final part, so it doesn't seem like it's like added in there. Nobody was watching this.
Oh my god.
Oh, for ours, they add like quality points. And I did not get good ones for my writing class. I had like a 12 in my graphic design, which I'm assuming is the highest or like close to it, and then like a 5 for my writing. And I don't know if that affects your GPA. I'm kind of confused about how college GPA works, because I don't know. It seems like it's different than high school.
I want to assume that it's the same. They just don't go as hard on ranking you. Like, they're not gonna be like, oh, you're the top 10 scholars of the university, you know? But I'm pretty sure there's like a valedictorian when you graduate.
Really?
I would assume so.
It's a lot of people.
I mean, you're still getting graded. I guess I'll talk about my grades. So for my African Studies class, I had an A-. My astronomy class, I got a B+. My anthropology class, I think I got a B. I don't know. They did not post. I think they posted their grades. I don't know. I can't remember, but it's like, I don't know if it's like a final grade, because like Zalika said, it's like, it shows the total at the top, but I'm not sure if that's the final grade. I thought that this would be the final. I'm assuming so. And then for my native studies class, she still did not post the grades somehow. They were like still on break, you know, like, I don't know. But I think I got like 3 B's and 1 A-, I guess. I think I did okay. I mean, I didn't really like my classes, so I'm surprised I did so well. I don't know. I don't know. I just feel so like indifferent to this. I don't really care about my grades that much, as long as it's a C or better, because I'm pretty sure anything below a C is failing, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. And when I started getting really worried about my grades in college, it's like, well, like everybody loves to say, I could always just retake it. Like, it's not that big of a deal, which is true, but was not a good thing though. But yeah, like me thinking like that kind of just like crushed my motivation even more, and like it made me not want to do anything, because I was like, well, there's always next time, and I really needed a break. But I ended up passing everything, I guess. Oh, but for my scholarship, I realized I was not taking enough credits, and that was very stressful because I was taking 4 classes at the beginning and I need to take 5.
Another thing I wanted to note is that overall, I don't think I really liked my classes for real. I feel like I just chose them because they were different than high school. In high school, it's like you have to take a math, you gotta take a reading, you gotta take social studies, you gotta take science. This time around, I was like, oh, let me just choose things that sound interesting. And I feel like the only con with things sounding interesting is the fact that the professors can affect how interesting that topic is. Like, for example, my African Studies class, I did not enjoy that at all because the professor was really horrible. He would just talk for an hour and a half. And then we had to do like these presentation projects towards the end. And he would talk for like the first 90% of the class and then wonder why every time people had to present, there was like barely any time. And then like no one ever showed up to his classes. Like at most it'd be like 10 people in the class, even though there was probably like 20 people enrolled. And it was honestly just insane how, I don't know how to word it, but I feel like if I was a professor and I noticed people are not showing up, I would change things up. I would make things more interesting. Like he made it so like not interactive at all. Like I don't know. That's why I skipped that class so much. But then I started feeling bad because it was clear that like most people did not like him. I don't know why. I guess I felt bad because he was like a black professor and he was like my only black professor, and I just felt bad about the fact that my only black professor was the only professor I hated. But I got a good grade. I don't know.
That's how I felt about my sociology teacher, because he did just talk, but then I just decided to dig a little deeper within myself and like really get the message out of what he's saying. And then I started becoming more interested, and I also found a better way to take notes, which kept me more engaged rather than just like staring at him the whole time and like looking around. And I also think he was a very sweet man, which made me want to care more about the class. I didn't really skip any For my classes, you could only have 4 absences per semester without it affecting your grade. And I think I took like 2 in my graphic design class and 2 in my writing class, and like 1 in sociology, or maybe 2. And yeah.
I think I was lucky that none of my classes took attendance except for Native Studies, but that was in the evening, so I really wasn't missing that class. But I feel like at the same time that hurt me because I was actively just skipping class because I could. And like I said, that kind of affected my grades because I was not studying. And like Zalika said, like when we first started school, I was like, are we supposed to be taking notes? Like I was looking around, seeing all these people writing on their little iPads, writing on their little notebooks. I'm like, oh, I guess this is important. I don't really have anything else to say.
Do you want to talk about what we took away from this semester as a whole and like to carry over into next semester?
Sure. This semester as a whole kind of taught me that college is not that bad academically. I just feel like you just gotta, hold yourself accountable. But socially, it is horrible if you're introverted or just don't talk to people already. I feel like, 11th and 12th grade kind of messed me up. It was just being Zalika. And then 11th grade, I really wasn't even talking to people except online. 9th and 10th grade, it was just, it was easier to like be at least acquainted with the people you sat next to because you're assigned next to them the entire year. But other than that, it's so much different in college. People are not going to talk to you just because you sit next to them. And I hate those advice videos are like, just talk to people around you. Make study groups. People are not going to be afraid to just, be around. And it's like, but they came here with their friends. Why would they adopt me into their friend group? I actually tried that with someone in my astronomy class, but it did not work. I gave up, honestly.
I kind of have the same takeaway, just that you do need to apply yourself. Like, things aren't just gonna work out just because. And people do not come up to you like I expected. It's just like, well, I seem nice, surely they'll just approach me and then we'll be friends. No, you do need to make the effort. They will not do that because they already have friends most likely. But I don't know, it's hard because it doesn't seem like there's ever really a time to talk to them. Like, they're just up there, the teachers are just like talking at you the whole time. So it's like, when am I supposed to talk to you? Like after class, I'm supposed to like follow you. Never really made friends since middle school, so I'm a bit lost. Oh, also, that you do need to like be mindful of your mental health. You can't just keep like ignoring it until it gets worse, because it will get worse if you don't do anything for it. And also that it's really nice to just treat yourself to small things and like let yourself do things, which is hard because during the first semester I didn't have a job. It's like I'm just wasting my money on these things, but like, why not? I'm sitting in my room a lot of time, especially during the winter, which I'm kind of worried about because I don't like the cold. So I'm gonna be in there more. But
yeah, take care of your mental health. I didn't get a little therapist though while I was up here. They said, oh, counseling up here is free because you're a student here. I had a therapist person, but they dropped me because I kept missing the little meetings because they were virtual. And me personally, I really hate virtual meetings, and I always scheduled them in the morning, and little did I know I wouldn't wake up. Other than that, oh yeah, my academic advisor, I don't know if I care for him anymore, honestly. I hope he does not find this because I'm pretty sure I told him that me and Zalika have this little YouTube channel, but like, he's white, and after a while I just started realizing that he was like one of those white people. He was married to a black woman, and he was just one of those white people that's kind of like, oh, I have a black wife because I love black people, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, he told me this one time he was gonna get a shirt that says, do not touch my wife's hair. Like, I think he expected me to give him an applause. Ally, like, I don't care. Okay. And I just feel like overall, he was just not that helpful because I was kind of going to him for emotional support because I didn't have a therapist. And I was realizing this is not the guy. This is really not the guy to be going to. But overall, I got Margarita out of it. So if you're watching Margarita, thanks for being there.
So I started therapy kind of maybe in November or the end of October, somewhere around then. We have the same program that Elon has, and it's free for 12 sessions, and then they said you can set up like a payment thing. But I didn't realize, like, I guess a lot of the therapists are like graduate students, so this is like part of their training or whatever to get their like, you know, like clinic hours. So there is no payment plan. Like, you can't set up your insurance through like the CAPS thing, which is the therapy. Like, there is no way for you to pay to go to them, so you just have to go somewhere else, which is kind of stupid. Because what if I really liked my therapist, and what if I wanted to like stay with them throughout the year, and like what if I wanted like an actual licensed therapist already? I don't know. My therapist is sort of helpful. It's mostly just her like validating me though. It's kind of just like seeing a social worker in high school.
A shout out to our social worker from high school, Miss Barr. I miss her every single day. Even though I wasn't really getting like advice like, yes, you should do this. Yes, you like, that's kind of what I wanted. But she was someone to talk to if I really didn't want to go to class or if I just really needed to vent. I hope she's doing great.
Yeah. My therapist is Asian. I wanted a Black therapist, but with my schedule, there wasn't anybody available. But I do appreciate that you can request that. And I don't know, it's kind of weird. I don't know, I guess maybe because she's in training still, like they have your intake thing where you like tell them about all your past trauma, like what you want to talk about, and then you get into therapy and don't talk about that. Like the first 2 sessions were just like me talking about my writing class. And also she kind of cuts me off after like 40 minutes. She's like, well, looks like our time's almost over, and then she'll just like repeat everything that she said already and like hang up. I mean, you're supposed to have an hour, but you know, beggars can't be choosers, I guess. I do want to stop going, but I feel bad because I do only have like 5 more sessions. And like, I don't know how many other people she's seeing. Like, what if she really needs this? But it kind of is not helpful for me right now. If you guys have any like mental health tips, leave them down below. We'll have the comments on this time.
Yeah. And this time we're actually gonna link stuff in our bio instead of putting in like really tacky screenshots.
Yeah. So make sure you follow everything. A lot of people are more active on Instagram, so we'll try to engage you guys soon.
Yeah. See you guys next time. Yeah.
Yeah, see you in the next one. Bye.